Hi everybody, my name is Toni Juhanne and I would like to welcome all of you to join our lesson here at Scandinavian School of Arts and Crafts. At this instructional video I will show you how to make your own wooden nameplate. It will be a nice work for all of you beginners out there. So let's keep continuing and watch this video. And to make this wooden nameplate happen, you will need the following objects. You will need either wool thread or cotton thread. And then we will need a hammer, some nails, this sharp marking tool, a piece of wood, some pliers, some sanding paper and sanding block, and some paint and a paintbrush. And in step one, we have to get a block of wood. Mine is, I actually took it from a garbage can, which is quite ecological also. But mine is about 20 centimeters long and 10 centimeters wide and 2 centimeters thick solid wood. And the first thing we have to do is start sanding because it's quite full of sticks here, and when sanding we have to attach sorry about the noise again. We have to attach wood to the table, the working bench, because sanding it is really hard if it's not firmly connected with the bench. And I will start with 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm gonna wrap it around the sanding block, and then I start sanding, just going once again with the lines. I'm not gonna do any circular motion, or I'm not gonna go across the lines here like this. I'm gonna just go with the lines back and forth. Okay, now the sticks are mostly gone, so I'm gonna go to a bigger grit sanding paper. I'm gonna choose this 150 grit now, and I'm gonna keep going. And here we go. Maybe I'll just use the 240 grit also to make it even smoother. And now I think it's done. And remember, when sanding, always start with the smaller numbers, and when you go on, just go to the bigger numbers with the sanding grit. And my wood is quite sticky all over it, so I'm gonna have to work it through before we can go on. So should you. So let's start sanding. And now the sanding is done and the surface is nice and smooth. I'm just gonna clean it here a little bit. Here we go. And because this is going to be your nameplate, now we're gonna have to start writing. For example, I'm gonna write my own name here, but you can write your name or your dad's name or your pet's name or anything you like. This would be like some kind of a gift to someone or yourself. But I'm gonna start drawing my own name here, and I'm gonna do it with big letters. Well, because my name is Tony, I'm gonna put a T there, and don't draw the lines here at the not too close to the edge, because we're gonna put some nails there afterwards, so it won't crack. And then I'm gonna put an O there, then I'm gonna put an N, and then I. And now I'm done with it. Tony, that's my name. And the next thing is that I'm gonna show you how to put the nails on the text. So that will be the next step. Now you should start doing this one. Okay, and now we have our names here in the wooden nameplate. Here's Tony, my name, and next I'm gonna show you how to put the nails here on top of these letters. I'm gonna place the wooden template here, and I'm gonna use this pointy sharp marking tool. It's sharp, so if you have this kind of things at your school, you should be quite careful with it. Now I'm gonna put one little dent over there, and then I'm gonna use my finger as a marking tool also, or as a let's say, it could be we're gonna create this maybe 2 centimeters or 1.5 centimeters gap there, and we're gonna make those dents there like this, and maybe there one in the cross there, and one there, and one over there maybe, yeah, and one here, and one here at the end of the line of the T letter. And now I'm gonna do all these letters here like this. I'm gonna use the marking tool and my finger here as a marking tool also. So let's get going. And hey, if you feel scared putting your finger next to the sharp pointy tool, there's one tip for you. You can take the pencil and then draw a little spot there, and then take your finger and put it there. There's about 2 centimeters there. If you're a small child and you have small fingers, you can put 2 fingers there to make a gap big enough there. I'm just gonna start doing this like this. I'm not gonna use my hands or my fingers anymore. I'm just gonna make those gaps about 2 centimeters there, or 1.5 centimeters. And then when you're done with the pencil, now you can start making these little holes there. In the next step, I'm going to show you why I'm making these holes. There's a little thing that those holes will help you out. But now, let's start working again. And okay, now I'm finished with the little holes here, or dents here. They are about 2 centimeters between each others, and there's this gap. And another thing that when this thing is done, and you can still see those lines there, which are made with the pencil, now you should remove those. And you could also take a little sandpaper and sand it a little bit, so you can only see those holes. So let's make those lines just fade away. And okay, now I did some sanding there, and now those lines there between those holes or those dents, they are almost gone. We did it because the next step is that we are gonna paint it. Some of my students, when they get to this stage, they create different kind of like landscapes here, or they draw ponies or football players or hearts or stars or whatever. But now it's your time to use your creativity and make a painting here, and you will be able to see those dents underneath the paint. So then after the painting we can start putting those nails here, and that's the next step. And now we can start painting. I've decided to use maybe a light blue today. I'm just gonna add some blue color and some of this white hobby color. Maybe I just use this paper here to mix it. I'm gonna put some white paint there and just a drop of blue. If I get, no, okay, there you go, there we go. And now I'm gonna mix this. These hobby paints are really nice because you can create a new colors with this one. Okay, I'm happy with this one. It's like a baby blue color. And when I start painting, I'm just gonna go with the lines here, this wooden lines. And as you can see, we can still see those dents we created at the last step. And if you like, you can use this as like it could be the background color, and then just let it dry a little bit, and then you can, for example, draw a sailing boat here or something to make it look like your own. And if there are those dents there that you don't want to see, then you can just hit the paint inside those holes. And here we go. At this stage, you can also color the sides if you want to. And I think you should, because I think it would look a bit nicer there. Maybe I'm just gonna do it there. So I'm gonna use the sanding block, put my work on top of the sanding block, and start painting also those sides. Then the bottom of the wood won't hit the table surface. Okay, now we can continue to the next phase here, and now if you look at this wood here, you can still see those dents or holes here that we created with the Sharpie marking tool, even though it has been painted. You can see those. And now we can start adding the nails. Okay, here we go. My wood here is about 2 centimeters thick, so I've chosen that I have 30 millimeters nails here. It doesn't matter what size they are. The main thing is that they are big enough that they can. We have to leave the top of the nail a little bit upper than the surface of the wood is. I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's get nail. we also, of course, we need a hammer. I have this one here, and now I'm gonna put the nail in the hole and then start hammering the nail here. And we should leave all the nails like this. It is about maybe 1.5 centimeters, maybe 1.3 centimeters up from the wooden surface. And now we are gonna add all the nails in every hole we have here. And we can use this first nail here as this is the nail we are gonna level all the other nails with. And this is about the same height as this is. And we are gonna put them all like this, because we are gonna add some extra things there afterwards. And I'm gonna just keep going with the hammering. And now I'm gonna also show you one tip. If you are a bit scared or new with hammering, it's scary to keep your fingers next to the nail, I'm gonna show you a nice tip here. You can take this basic pliers and put the nail there like this. So the end that we are gonna do the hammering is there, and the pointy sharp end is over there. And now I'm gonna put the nail in the next hole. And now, as you can see, my fingers are quite far away from the nail. And this is the way you can safely put all the... You can start hammering like this. And then all of your precious fingers are safe. Now you can just continue with your own work. Now I'm done with the letter T here. All the nails are in the right position there. And now I'm gonna start working with the letter O here, and then N, and then I. And I'm gonna put the nails in all of these holes here I have created. Okay, let's continue. I have now placed all the nails here in the wood. You can see here, if you look it closely, there's a T, O, N, and I. And next thing is that we are gonna add the thread in these letters here. I'm gonna show you how. You can choose your favorite color. You just need this is a cotton thread, and I maybe also use some wool thread. But the thing is that take a little piece of thread, choose one nail first and make a knot. Just the one knot there. Maybe it would be easier if it's on the upper level of the nail, and not a knot there. So it will definitely hold. Just a moment. It might be a bit tricky. And here we go. And now there's a nice knot there. I'm gonna cut the extra thread off, and then we can start making the letters. I'm gonna just go through the first nail. You can make a couple of rounds there, then go to the next one and next one, and at this side and this side, and a couple of rounds there, and then I go backwards and here and to the next nail, and now the T is done. But we can also, if you want to make it look a little bit fluffier, you can go also backwards like this, and maybe a couple of times there. And I think the most tricky part making this leather is that you have to make the ending knot there. And I think the easiest way to do it is just hold the thread there and go under the like gate there, and when it creates this loop here, just go through the loop and there's a knot there. And make another one. I'm gonna show it you one more time. There's the thread, go underneath the gate, and then when it has created the loop, just go over there and tighten it there. And then you can cut the extra off. And then now you can choose, like I said earlier, you can choose your favorite colors. Maybe you could put the next leather some wool thread. I think I'm gonna add this one to make it look a little bit like a happier wood, but I'm gonna let you to decide what kind of thread do you want to use. So you can go ahead and start there. I'm gonna continue with this one. And here it is. This is my nameplate, and I hope you had a good time doing yours. You know, when it's done, you can maybe, like I said earlier, that you could give it to a friend as a present, or your grandmother or grandpa, or maybe your mama or dad, or maybe you could just hang it on the wall or put it on the bookshelf, on the desk, wherever you would like to put it. But I hope you had a good time doing it, and I see you next time here at Scandinavian School of Arts and Crafts. And I say bye-bye, everybody.